I am joined by KERRY RHODES. KERRY, it's good to have you. How are you?
Doing great, Jim. How you doing, man?
Good to have you.
Thanks.
KERRY, let me get your thoughts on the Super Bowl itself. Let me just start right there. You played the Niners twice this year. You played the Ravens last year, so you know what they're about. Kind of break this thing down. Who do you like in the game and why?
Man, it's tough to say because they're in my division, but I think San Fran. I mean, coming into the year, I mean, they were the favorites. I think coming into the year, and they've lived up to their ability. They actually brought in a new quarterback, Kaepernick, that came in and made that team more dynamic. So, I mean, they have all the weapons. Defense is great. Now offense is making plays and making enough plays to win games now. So they're going to be tough to beat. I mean, I like the whole Baltimore story with Ray and you know how those guys are rallying behind him. But I just think that San Fran is going to be a little bit too much.
KERRY RHODES, my guest. Hey, KERRY, talk about the Niners. I mean, the first time you played them, they had Alex Smith under center.
Yep.
And then the second time, you got to look at Colin Kaepernick. Talk about how different they are and the challenges that he poses and maybe things that he can do that Smith can't do.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because playing San Fran the first time, we played on Monday night, and Alex Smith had a well of a game. I think he was like 18 for 19 or something. He was very, very, very efficient and made a lot of plays and was good enough to be the starting quarterback for those guys and help those guys win. But when you bring in a guy like Colin, who can do the same thing, but also can add that dimension of running the ball and getting that big wow play. I mean, in this league, everybody's always looking for wow plays and guys that can make that type of play. And he's that type of guy. And he showed it, and he's been consistent since he's been in.
You know, everybody's so locked in on what he can do and how he can beat you with his legs.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, is he more dangerous with his legs or throwing the football?
Well, I think he's pretty adept at doing both. I think he has a very big arm. He can make all the throws. His throwing style is a little unorthodox, but I mean, he gets the job done with it. He can throw the ball. He's not just a guy that's out there running. I mean, the added dimension of him running the ball and being able to make that play, like I said, the wild play with his legs is it shows people that that's another side that he can do. But as far as being a complete quarterback, I think he's pretty complete. He can do well on both.
KERRY RHODES, 8-year NFL veteran safety. You know, KERRY, you mentioned the Ravens. I mean, you look at, and to me, it's just kind of a tired, played-out question when we say, is this guy elite? Is this guy elite?
Yep.
But in terms of Joe Flacco, I mean, has he gone to a different level, and is he a top-5 quarterback in the NFL now?
Top 5 quarterback, that's tough to say. I didn't actually see him this year. So the maturity and the growth from him, seeing him just in these playoffs alone, I mean, the numbers and the stats don't lie. I mean, he's thrown 8 touchdowns and no interceptions. But beyond that, beyond the numbers, you can see the confidence he has. He goes into every game believing that he can get the job done, and I think that permeates down through the team. I think the team believes in him now and believes that he can get the job done and know that if they do their job a little bit better, that he's going to do the job and help them get over the hump. So that's where a lot of the confidence comes from for the Ravens and him alone.
Were you at all surprised to see them go into Foxborough and do the Patriots the way they did?
I was definitely surprised. I was surprised. I actually had me and Michael Phelps. We actually talked about it, and we had a little side bet going on, just in good natured fun about the game. And he actually told me a couple of weeks ago if they got past Denver that they would make the Super Bowl, and I said there's no way. And his bet came to fruition. He believed that would happen, and they did. And you know, we joked about it, but I mean, those guys are playing at a high level, man. And I think it's not just the whole Ray Lewis story and all that stuff. I think they really believe in each other, and they believe in their quarterback too, and that's a big deal.
Michael Phelps obviously is a huge Ravens fan.
Yeah.
What's your connection to him?
Yeah, we actually went down to we were in the Bahamas together, just having a good time, and he went down for a poker tournament, and I just went down for a little relaxation, and you know, we just we talked about it there.
You know what's funny, KERRY? He admits that Ray Lewis is one of the reasons why he actually went back to the Olympics. The Ray got a hold of him and said, hey, it's your time. You can do this. In fact, you have to do this. From what you know about Ray, does he have that kind of effect on people?
Oh, I know a lot about Ray. We talk too. We talk a lot. We talked during the year. When he got hurt, he was here in Arizona doing a little bit of training. So he definitely has that effect. I think a lot of people in the league respect him, respect his knowledge, respect what he says, and pretty much when he says something, I mean, everybody listens. So he has that effect, there's no question. And I'm sure that, you know, I heard that story about Michael saying that he pretty much helped him get over the hump and got him back to training and getting him ready to go back to the Olympics to win again. And that's the type of effect he has on people. And that's why that's why I think that the story with him and the Ravens and how they've been able to respond and make this run, it's been instrumental. But I also don't think it's the only reason, but it's been a big reason.
So, Kerry, what is it? I mean, you guys are all the highest achievers. You guys are self-starters. You all want it badly.
Yeah.
How has Ray separated himself from the entire pack, and why is he considered, I mean, what is it about him that makes him arguably the best leader in any sport?
Well, first of all, you got to be able to do it on the field. You got to prove yourself and prove that you're worthy of that, of those accomplishments and of all the good graces that you get. I mean, he's a guy that he's got all the Pro Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl before. He's been defensive MVP, so he's got credibility. Everybody looks at him and says, "Well, he's done it. He's been there. He's achieved it all." So we have a guy that's done all that and also is willing to garner and give some of that attention back to players and let them know that it can be done. Somebody that's a willing advisor. It helps out a lot. He's not a selfish guy. He's not a guy that wants all the attention to himself. So that's one thing that brings guys like us and brings guys like us to listen to a guy like that.
Card safety, Kerry Rhodes joining us. Kerry, I got to get your thoughts on Manti Te'o. I mean, when you look at that situation, does that strike you as just like the most bizarre thing ever? Or maybe is it not that strange? Is there a lot more of that going on and we just don't know about it?
Jim, it's not that strange. I'll tell you that. I think that you can definitely set yourself up in those type of situations just because of how social media is now and how much people take to the internet. I mean, just think about it. You're seeing people that you think are certain people on the internet. You may see a picture and think that that's them, and they talk to you and go through the whole process of being friends and all that stuff, and really it can turn out to not be true. I mean, all the aspects of his story is a little bit more complex, I would say. I mean, you don't know everything that's going on with it, but just from a standpoint of being able to be fooled on the internet with certain people and certain relationships, it definitely can happen.
No, I think you're right. One more thought. When you look at Te'o, do you think to yourself, man, come on, man, really? Or do you look at the kid and say, you know what, he's a young kid. He got caught up. I could see how that might happen. It could happen to somebody else. Or do you look at him and go, come on, man?
When you first hear the story, you say, come on, man. There's no question about it. But like I said, it definitely can happen. And it's unfortunate that it happened to a kid that's so young and, pretty much naive to the fact, so to speak. I mean, he's young and really don't know how evil people are in this world. I mean, there are evil people, and there are people that try to take advantage of any situation they can get. And this situation, it screams that, and it just shows everybody. I mean, and it's a good lesson. I think for him coming to the league, he'll be more closed and more garnered to certain things that come his way, and I think it's a good deal.
We're talking to Kerry Rhodes, another minute or two. Kerry, in terms of social media, I mean, you're kind of new to Twitter. I'm looking at your feed, and you're getting going right now.
Yep.
To your point that there's some nasty people in the world, Twitter's great and it's terrible both because there's some nasty people in the world. Do guys read it in the league, and can it get into their head if you get a bunch of negative things on your timeline? And do guys take that with them on the field? Have you ever seen that happen?
You know what? I used to be. I was one of the first ones to come on Twitter. I actually had over like 600,000 followers, and it got to a point where in my last year in New York, it got so bad that I kind of had to get away from it. So I actually got rid of Twitter. But I had a whole bunch of followers and got rid of it, and then I just sat back and was like, this really isn't worth it. I mean, the backlash that you get from people that don't even know you. I mean, they just say stuff from what they hear or what they think, and can have the ability to say what they want in a negative way. It's tough, and I think for people that really don't understand it and really take it to heart, sometimes it can hurt you. But I also think that you have to be a man about it and know that, hey, I mean, they have the right to speak. They have the right to speak what they want, and if you're opening yourself up for that, you're opening yourself up for the negative comments as well. So it's just something you have to deal with, and me growing up and being a man and just maturing and knowing how everything works. It's not a big deal, but you can let it get that way.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where you walked away from it, but 600,000 is a really, really big number. You got to work to get that number, and now you're back and starting again. What brought you back?
Yeah, my new publicist, Eileen, out in
always a new publicist, man. That's what it is. I hear you.
In LA, said, you got to get this back, and I'm like, all right, but you got to help me do it. So we're getting it back going, and like I said, I've matured so much and grown so much from, early on in my career that I know that it really doesn't matter. I mean, and as long as you you take those negative and the positive comments with a grain of salt, and just know that it can change at any moment, and people can change. So it's something that I need to get back on and get my following back up some more.
Hey, one quick thought before you go. You mentioned you've grown, you've changed. How are you different now than you were when you were in New York?
You know, like I said, you just realize that everybody's not in it for you. I mean, you may think that you're a great player and everybody's behind you and everybody wants to see you succeed, but that's not the case. I mean, that's part of being immature, thinking that way. And I think as you grow up and mature and you learn all the ropes and know what this game is really about and know what people are really about, you learn life, and you learn that life lessons are always great, and it makes you better as you grow up and as you mature. So that's what I've learned so far.
You know, Kerry, I recall Rex Ryan saying in his book that you were, quote, Hollywood and that you were selfish.
Yeah.
Were you those things back then?
Nah, I was never selfish. I think every player that's had success in this league and expects themselves to go out and make big plays and help their team win all the time wants to do that all the time. I don't think that's being a bad selfish or being selfish at all. I think that's wanting to help your team win and be if that's being a focal point and helping those guys out like you've been in the past, you want to do that and you want to help out. And that's pretty much what I always wanted to do.
Last 3 years with Arizona, 8 years overall, and he's back on Twitter. Kerry Rhodes joining us. Kerry, good to visit with you. Appreciate that. Hope to do it again soon.
No problem, Jim. Thanks.
Good time. Appreciate it.